The Crimson Code, a genetic betrayal. Rain bled down the neon skyline like circuitry gone mad. In the city of New Avalon, nothing was sacred. Not faith, not life, not blood. The towers hummed with the pulse of 1,000 power lines, their lights refracting across puddles that glowed crimson beneath the night's electric veins. Somewhere between the digital and the damned, humanity had found a way to monetize immortality. They called it Crimsonex, a biotech miracle that could grant strength, healing, and longevity. But it was no serum. It was vampire blood, synthesized, spliced, and sold to the highest bidder. Kai Mercer knew the system better than anyone. Hacker, ghost, data thief. He had spent years tearing into the corrupted infrastructure of megacorporations that promised salvation while feeding on the desperate. But this time was different. He wasn't breaking in for money. He was breaking in for answers. The terminal room was silent, except for the rhythmic hum of servers and the distant whine of drones outside. Kai's fingers danced across the holocaust, code streaming like light from his eyes. He'd traced the encrypted shipments of Crimsonex to Heliox Biotech, the largest producer of gene-modified blood on the eastern grid. They claimed it was harvested from consenting donors, but the data whispered otherwise. Words buried in fragmented files and corrupt archives, containment subjects, failed extractions, expired specimens. He decrypted another layer. A file appeared. Project Lucifer. The moment he opened it, the air changed. Lines of code twisted into a pulse, literally a heartbeat, rendered in digital form. And beneath it, one name appeared again and again. Kai Mercer, patent origin. He froze. That couldn't be right. Sweat dripped down his neck as he ran an identity crossmatch. The results came faster than he could breathe. Genome match to 100%. Creation date 27 years ago. Authorization signature Dr. Lyra Vale, his mother. The realization hit him like static fire. He was in an intruder in Heliox's system. He was their property. The room's lights flickered. A female voice came through the speakers, cold and familiar. You always were curious, Kai. I wondered when you'd come home. He turned toward the terminal, where a holographic projection shimmered to life. Lyra Vale, her face ageless, untouched by time. Her eyes glowed faintly red, like something just beneath the surface was awake. Mother, he whispered, his throat tight. What did you do to me? I perfected you, she said, stepping closer in the flickering hologram. You were born from a prototype, the first viable fusion of human resilience and vampiric regeneration. You were never meant to grow old, never meant to die. I wasn't meant to be your experiment, Kai spat. She smiled. But you are, and you always will be. View the code. They've been fighting to replicate the cure and the contagion. They can't mass-produce you. You're unique. The alarms blared. Drones burst into the corridor, their crimson optics scanning for heat signatures. Kai grabbed his pulse driver and slammed the portable drive into his wrist port, initiating the data siphon. His blood shimmered faintly under his skin, the color too deep, too luminous. He felt it for the first time, the hunger, the heat under his veins. The system was waking something inside him. "Stop this," his mother's voice pleaded through the combs. "If you leak that data, they'll kill you before dawn. Then I'll make sure they choke on it first," he said. He sprinted through the sterile corridors, glass walls flashing with biometric locks. Red lights pulsed in rhythm with his heart, a cruel echo of the code inside him. He kicked through the main door into the rain-soaked city. Above, the skyline was alive, drones circling like vultures of steel. He leaped onto a service lift, climbing toward the upper tiers of the city. Each drop of rain that hit his skin burned, but not from heat, from reactions. The serum embedded in his DNA was rejecting the night. He could feel his senses heightening, his pulse syncing with the network's electromagnetic hum. The line between blood and code was dissolving. He reached the rooftop of the Heliox Tower and linked his neural implant to the city's grid. The data began to flow, the truth spilling across every public channel. The blood farms, the cloned donors, the captured humans drained dry to fuel the elite. And at the core of it all, his mother's name. As the broadcast went live, the swarm of drones descended like locusts, their red eyes burning through the smoke. "You can't erase the code," Kai murmured, raising his gun. "Because it's me." He pulled the trigger, but instead of a bullet, his body erupted with light. The network screamed as his blood became signal, his DNA a virus rewriting the system itself. Heliox fell in minutes. The drones crashed. The lights died. The city went dark. When the power finally returned hours later, Kai Mercer was gone. Only a smear of light remained on the rooftop, a pattern of code pulsing faintly in red. In the archives of New Avalon, whispers spread of a ghost in the grid, one who could manipulate machines with a thought, whose shadow flickered in every reflection of blood. They called him the Crimson Code, the hacker who became the algorithm of his own revenge. Bound, and somewhere deep in the circuits of the rebuilt Heliox mainframe, his mother's voice lingered. "Even gods bleed, my son. But only one of us remembers what that feels like."